it's just fear. People are scared, and so it's easier to attack than it is to see that you're actually the creator of your life. Like you're the one that are creating your problems. I feel like it's so hard to get people to see it that way. They're like, I'm not at fault. It's the economy, it's this, it's that. But like I'm here to tell you that it is your fault. Like from the most loving place, it is your fault.
Becca, welcome to the podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, honestly. Like,
Why are
I'm
you
so
excited to
honored.
be here? Why?
I don't know. I think maybe because I'm starting to finally feel like part of the whole tattoo community and like I fit in. I finally have a place in it.
I never felt that way. I still don't feel that way.
I'm not
I feel like
100% sure that I do, but
I fit into. I feel like I've created this community, which is how we've met, and like that's where I feel I fit in. And I think tattooing, it's not just one little community. I think every tattooer, it's not about fitting into tattooing anymore. I don't know that it ever was, but it's about finding your niche, your people, and it's not just about being a tattoo artist anymore. You know,
yeah, I do.
it's whatever. It's you could be. I don't want to speak down or anything. It's just there's different strokes for different folks, and what's the thing for me or you is just not the thing for someone else, and what's someone else's thing is just totally not my thing, and that's totally fine. I just think there's more of that than there ever was, and I'm glad to hear that you feel like you have a place.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring you on because that was not always the case. And I think you have a really inspiring story from what I know of your journey. And how long have we known each other now? For like almost a year? About a year?
It's been about a year. I think I started the program in February of last year.
Yeah. And I've just watched you. Literally, the person I knew you to be it's like it's a whole different human in so many ways. And I just feel like a lot of tattooers, especially parents, especially women, can identify with a lot of experiences and stories that you've been through, and would be really inspired to hear, what your journey looks like, because it's a unique journey. So that's what we can chat about. So where do you want to start Becca's story journey?
Do you
Well,
want to start it at the
first of all, you've been
beginning?
tattooing. Yeah, we'll start at the beginning, but you've been tattooing for how long now?
About 20 years. I feel like I started when I was 19. I just turned 40, so 21.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Long time.
is that the beginning of the story?
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like I didn't actually start professionally tattooing till 4 years later
Mm.
because when I first started tattooing, it did not pay my bills. And
What year?
I
What 20? So we're talking 2006, 2005.
2005, yeah,
Yeah.
2005. I was working driving forklift at night so that I could do tattoos and stuff in the day. And I was actually, I'm like, I maybe was a scratcher in the beginning, which I
I
know
was a
that people
scratcher in the
like,
beginning.
yeah, I know
There's
people
so
like frown
many.
upon it.
90% of the tattooers that I've had, including Jason Grace and Squire and all these big name tattooers on this podcast, all were like, oh yeah, I totally like tattooed out of a dorm room or a bedroom. I had no guidance in the beginning. Like there's this weird stigma around scratching. It's this label that tattooers throw on to someone to judge. And it's like, think about how many tattoo artists there are, and then think about how many apprenticeships there are.
There's none. There's
So
none.
most tattooers, by the numbers, most tattooers were a scratcher at some point. And can we just fucking get over that? Like it doesn't fucking matter. Like, sure, is there a better way to do it? Yeah, and it's just not how most tattooers became tattoo artists through a
Yeah.
mentorship. Most tattoo schools are total fucking garbage. And even those, most people don't have that available to them. And I know people are really like, all tattoo schools are different garbage. I'm still holding out hope. I haven't heard of one that I was like, that one's amazing. But Actually, that's not true. There are some in Oregon, and I've spoken to tattooers that have taken them, and they're like, no, I actually got a really good experience, and now today I'm a successful tattoo artist. So,
Well, Oregon is where I started. And
okay,
there are a lot of schools in Oregon. And one of the things that I wanted when I was getting ready to get an apprenticeship or go to one of the schools was like, I didn't just want to go to one where it was like a 3 month program and then I'm like pushed out and I am just kind of someone with not a whole lot of education. And I wanted to be something to the community. So I went to like different shops and stuff asking, and I got like kicked out of so many different tattoo shops just
how
trying to
many?
find a
If you
space.
had to guess, how many?
I tried for 2 years
Wow.
getting kicked out of shops. And there was this one tattoo school called like Forbidden Art in Oregon, and it was like $6,000. But all I heard was bad things about it.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I'm going to find this place. I'm going to find the place that's right for me. And one of my friends had gone and gotten a tattoo by this guy. And she's like, oh, I asked him if he does apprenticeships. And he says he does. And I was like, okay. And this shop was literally walking distance from my house. And
Wow.
so I went over there
Had you
and I
never
had like,
gone in it before?
no, I hadn't. It
Did
was
you
on like,
know it existed?
no, it was on like some highway up towards like Mount Hood. So it was like this obscure location. It didn't have like a sidewalk or anything. I walked in from behind it
Mm.
when I looked it up to go over there. And the guy's name was Ben, and I had my portfolio, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Like, you can start if you have $8,500." And back then, I was driving forklift. I made like $19,000 a year. So I had to get $8,500 and figure out some way to do it. And I was like, oh, I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll get this money. And I was like tattooing for the money, collecting cans, doing whatever I could. And then I asked my sister if she would help me get a loan. And she was like, yeah, I will, but only if you prove that you can make the payments for like a certain amount of time. And I was like, whatever it takes for me to get in here. And then I get this $8,500. I go to this guy and he's like, well, the price has gone up to 13,000. And I'm like, ah,
So how long was that period of time?
maybe like 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he just decided, he was like, honestly, it like takes too much of my time and I really should charge more. But I wanted to go to this guy because it was an individual apprenticeship. It was
Yeah.
just one on one. I didn't want to go to a school. I wanted to actually learn.
Yeah.
And
And God, apprenticeships take so much time and effort
yeah,
and energy. And a lot of apprentices start and then they bounce 6 months in and they just start, so yeah, I think a paid apprenticeship just makes a lot of sense. I've had apprentices I never charged up front, but I did have like a contract like, look, you're going to work with me for this period of time after your apprenticeship and you'll pay a percentage. And then after that, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You're your own human being.
yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of people have a lot to say about a paid apprenticeship, but it's like energy for energy, and money's
Yeah,
just
that's
energy.
it. Yeah.
And so, like, you want someone to
It's
teach
clean.
you.
It's easy. It's
Yes.
like you're
Yeah. So I
giving
didn't
me something
see.
valuable and I'm giving you something valuable. It's clean.
Yeah. And, I wasn't mad at it. I was just like, I got to figure it out now. I wasn't about to like let it
Okay,
just
so we
sit.
spent 2 years asking at different shops, getting kicked out. Then our friend gets tattooed and asks, and they randomly, the tattoo shop that you had no idea existed, that was right around the corner from you. I love this story. There's so much synchronicity in there. And he tells you it's going to be 8,500, which is basically 50% of what you earned in a whole year. And then somehow in 4 months, through a loan and every scrambling, you come up with the 8,500. That was probably the most expensive thing you'd ever invested in your entire life, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And how old were you?
Definitely.
You were in
Um,
your 20s.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
early 20s. So I ended up, he told me that I could start the program with the 85, but I
Okay.
wasn't allowed to start tattooing until I got the rest of the money.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't know how I got the rest of that money, but I got it.
How
Like I
long did it
had
take
it
you to get the rest of that money?
only a few months, I think.
Yeah.
Like I was really determined. And I
Another
even got
four,
like
almost 5 grand. Yeah.
Yeah, I even got this Christmas card to this day. I don't know who gave it to me, but it was someone who worked with me at Home Depot. And it had like Santa with, I still have the card, had Santa with tattoos all over it. And it was a note that said, like, I can see you're working really hard to try to make your dreams happen. Here's some money to go towards your
Oh my
apprenticeship.
God.
And it was just like, I never figured out who gave it to me. Just it showed up one day and my manager gave it to me. And I keep that card with me because it's like I think when people believe in you, you can really do anything.
Yeah. Wow. You
Yeah.
believed in you.
I I always second guessed in me. I feel like my husband really believed in me and then with him believing in me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep going. Like if you believe it and like I've always had really great people around me that were like, I think you can do it. Like you're amazing. And I'm like, okay, if you guys believe it, I'm gonna do it. I'm
And
gonna
you
prove you
were you
right.
were already a mother by this point in your life, right?
Yeah. So I had taken on my sister's daughter, is
Mm,
what happened. She unfortunately was like a drug addict. And
mm.
so I got her when she was like a week old. And then
Wow.
I just kept her.
Wow.
Hmm.
So you're working at Home Depot, you're apprenticing. I always tell people when you want it bad enough, like you'll figure out how to fucking get the resources and the time and the energy. But it's that intention. And whether you believed in yourself or not, you had the intention. Like
Yeah.
bright, burning, flaming intention.
Well, it was always the end. It was like it never mattered how long it was going to take. It was the end. And sometimes I did have days where I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get this.
Oh yeah.
But I just kept going. I was like, the end result is I'm going to be a tattoo artist. There's no other option.
Wow. So you come up with the rest of the money. And how was the apprenticeship? Like how was it? Was it what you hoped it would be?
Well, he gave me a lot of one-on-one, but he also gave me a lot of abuse.
Mm,
So I did have to take quite a bit of abuse, and there was lots of tears shed throughout that whole
mm,
thing because he would go from like, you're so amazing to like, you're a piece of trash and you're never
mm.
gonna do anything. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm trash. And then I just kept like working harder and harder to keep improving. Like maybe it's good that he would yell at me and do this kind of stuff to like I guess motivate me. I remember one time I did like a heart. I was feeling really overworked. I had like no breaks or anything and I squeezed in like a little tiny heart behind a girl's ear and I charged her $60 for it. And it was janky. It was weird looking. And I got screamed at so bad that day because he was like, if you're going to charge someone $60 for a heart, like you're going to make sure that it is fucking perfect. And I was like, okay.
I mean, that one I get, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were instances that maybe weren't quite as, or you tell me, were there instances that maybe didn't quite make so much sense? Like, if you hadn't gotten the level of abuse, would you have still turned out to become a great tattoo artist?
Um, yeah, I think I would. I'm gonna give that one to me because I think I became a good tattoo artist maybe in spite of the abuse.
Yeah, I don't know an educational container where belittling, shaming, verbally abusing people in any way, shape, or form benefits that person's growth. I've
Yeah.
definitely grown in spite of being shamed and bullied and humiliated and all that. I've definitely, in spite of it. But if that hadn't happened, I honestly probably would have grown faster because I would have believed in myself sooner, you know?
Well, I think he held me back in some senses too because he always wanted me to do it exactly his way. I wasn't allowed to do anything outside of his way. And I was really struggling to do like color work. I really wanted to step into color. I did nothing but like portraits in black and gray. And this was after my daughter was born, and she was only like 3 at the time. My husband, we believe in manifestation and like making things happen. And I had been seeing Megan Massacre, if you know who she is,
Yeah,
on tattoo covers, like tattoo magazine
right.
covers. And I was like, I love this girl's work. Like, I wish I could learn from her so bad. And my husband came home from a tattoo convention because he had gone to put like a portrait that I did in one of the competitions. I did not
Oh,
win.
wow.
But he was like, "Hey, I signed up for this show and I'm gonna win you a trip to go meet Megan Massacre." And I was like, "Whatever, bro. There's no way that that's happening. Like, I'm not gonna go meet Megan Massacre." And then literally the next day, he gets a call and they're like, "Hey, do you guys want to fly out to New York and meet Megan Massacre and be on the show with us?" And I was like, "You freaking did it."
Wow.
Yeah. And so, like, the show was called America's Worst Tattoos. My husband had like a real crappy tattoo on his back.
I
It
was
had
going
a
to say,
really
it wasn't
funny
the portrait
story.
you did.
No, 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 no. It wasn't. It had nothing to do with me being a tattoo
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, we went out and there was four artists for the show, four different artists. There was one in LA. I feel like they could have sent us to easier,
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, we got picked to go be with Megan.
Wow.
And so we fly out to New York. He gets like an 11-hour tattoo that day for this TV show. And
Wow.
you can still see this TV show today. It's like a TLC show.
Yeah.
And I told her like I would love to do color, but I'm struggling. It's healing bad. I don't know why. And she's like, "Oh, well, let me show you." And she just showed me a few tricks and stuff. And my color work from then has taken off. And now I don't even do black and gray work. I don't
Wow.
even do realism anymore.
What was the one or two golden nuggets that she showed you that made a difference? Do you know? I'm going to get right back to this episode, but if you've been following me on Instagram or listening to this podcast for a while, you might be familiar with a workshop that I've led a couple times called the Booked in 48 workshop that has often helped tattooers book tattoos in under 48 hours. I've led it live now about 7 times. And before this, we would only make it available to people who came live or to anyone that did book a one-on-one strategy session. But there's been a lot of demand for it, and I want to make it available to more tattooers at a lower price. And so now, for the first time ever, you can actually get access to the recording and all the live resources to help you book tattoos, sometimes very quickly, sometimes it might take a little bit of consistency, but either way, you're not going to book less tattoos, I'll say that. For $48, you can get access to everything and the private school community. If you look through here, there's a couple windows with some case studies and testimonials from people that have taken it. So if you're on the fence and you're like, I want to see what other tattooers have to say about it, you can come here and listen, hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Click on the link in the caption if you want to learn more about it. We do also have a 100% money back guarantee. So literally, worst case scenario, you get your money back. Best case scenario, you use it, you do it, and you book out your whole next week. Check out the link for more details. And now back to this episode. What was the one or two golden nuggets that she showed you that made a difference? Do you know?
Okay, this is really silly, but like the guy that was teaching me how to tattoo, he would say like do little half moons and pull the machine out every time. And then she was like, "No, do like little footballs, keep the machine in, move your
Keep it
hands
in,
fast
right.
in circles,
Oh, so he was
and move
having
your
you
hands
fill
slow."
color by doing a circle and pulling out of the skin and then going
Yes.
back. Oh, weird.
Yes.
That's a very weird way to fill color.
It's a terrible way. It doesn't work at all.
No.
It's a terrible
But if
way.
you're shown by someone, they're like, you have to do it this way, and you paid all this money for it. Wow.
Well, yeah. Well, I had been working with him for a while at that
But
point.
that would get you the license just to apprenticeship. Even if it was a bad apprenticeship, that would get you an Oregon license, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It took me about a year and a half to get my Oregon license.
Right.
But this Megan thing on the show was, if my daughter was 3, it was probably 2014.
Wow. So you've been
Yeah.
tattooing for a
So
little while by then.
yeah, but I did all black and gray work, like
Uh-huh.
realism.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just like never looked back after I did that. But one thing that she did too, when I was there, I told her about him and the things that he did and stuff. And she was like, F that guy. F that guy, get out of that shop, move to a new shop, go learn from other people
Yeah.
and like improve yourself.
Even like you think of the apprenticeship model where it's like you learn from your mentor. But like when I went to college for jewelry and metalsmithing, I had a whole bunch of teachers. And there were certain things that one teacher showed me that I didn't like or wasn't helpful. And then other things I took from others. Like if you really want to say like, what is the, like I learned to tattoo mostly self-taught, but I worked in tattoo shops for 2 years as a body piercer before I started tattooing. And I watched everyone for years. And I watched it. So I knew like what people did when they filled color. I knew what they did when they pulled lines. I knew what they did with their bodies, and I just mimicked that, and it was, I feel like, almost better than an apprenticeship because I had multiple people that I was learning from. So I agree with
Oh yeah.
Megan. Yeah.
Yeah, but this guy, he just wanted it. It really was like his way or nothing. Like I
Yeah.
had to buy the machines that he told me to buy. I had to buy the needles he told me to buy, the
Sure.
ink he told me to buy. And I remember one time I went out and I bought like out of spite, I bought like a $400 machine. It was white, had freaking pink glitter on it. And he was just like, "You're the biggest fucking idiot for buying that machine. What a waste of fucking money." And just like talked down to me. And I was like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? But Megan, what she did is she freed me from the idea that I had to be there with him or I was never going to be successful.
Probably
I
the most
thought if
valuable thing she gave you in that day. Yeah.
yes. And the next shop I went to was with some guy. He had been tattooing forever. His name was Diamond. And he was one of the oldest tattooers in Oregon, one of the original 62 to get licensed there. And he told me all of his crazy stories. He had like a tattoo from Paul Booth from his apprenticeship.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from there, I just like, I moved into Salem. I started working at another shop, and the dude there was like such a dick. He told me it was a boys club and I needed to mind myself and not to upset any of the male tattooers. And I tolerated that for a little bit until I was like, F you, bro. I'd rather be broke than be here.
Yeah.
And then I like rented a booth with this other dude named Tattoo Mike, who was another one of the original tattooers in Oregon. And he was a cool ass dude. He was like a gypsy joker, but he was one of the nicest dudes I've ever met.
Wow. And this whole story so far, I'm just hearing like, the thing that comes to mind is like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And
Yeah.
you just took so many shots at getting into a shop, at working with different mentors, and asking questions. Your husband even taking the shot on getting you to meet Megan Massacre. Like he could have easily just not taken that shot and you guarantee to miss it. But who knows? You just take the shot.
Yeah. And one thing I learned after that first shop was that it's okay to quit if you aren't learning anything and you're not improving. Like you don't have to stay
Yeah.
put.
Yeah.
Then I opened up my own studio and
How long ago was this?
gosh, this was like 2018.
Yeah.
I opened up this studio and it was another one with Tattoo Mike. But he
It's still in
wasn't,
Portland?
this was in Portland. Yeah. He
Yeah.
didn't want to be part of it. He just wanted to like help me get this shop going.
Mm.
And I had people in it that were renting booths and stuff. And then I decided I wanted like my own private studio to work out of. And so I rented that and I was getting everything ready. And then this thing, I don't know if you remember, it was called COVID happened.
Wait, what? Tell me more about this.
Yeah, it was this really weird thing. It was no big deal. But
Didn't have
I
much
had
impact on your life in any way, shape,
dude,
or
then I
form.
had two shops, the one with Mike and then my own shop that I wanted to have as a private space for me. And then no money coming in. And I wasn't going to charge anyone booth rent when nobody had any money
Did you
coming in.
just open up the shop like right when
I
COVID
had
happened?
I never got it open. I never got it
Oh,
open.
did you rent the space?
Yeah, so I had the space, I was getting everything built out, then the world closed down. And
Yeah.
I only had like $7,000 in my savings account. And Mike took the hit with the one shop. It was like the lease was supposed to be up in like a month, luckily. And so he paid to break the lease because the building had just been sold to new owners and they were being real big dicks about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, he took that hit. And my
I
studio, I
also
paid.
opened up a shop right before COVID. I was like, so many people were
Yeah.
in that. I don't know what it was about that time. My daughter was born in November. I opened up the new shop in October. No. Sorry. I think I opened up the shop in September. Anyway, it was like right before then because I remember she was about to be, yeah, no, that's right. It was in October. So the month before she was born. And I was trying to get the shop ready before the baby came because I knew there was going to be so much to do with the baby. Anyway, it was a very stressful time. Baby comes in November of 2019, and then it was December, January, February, and then we were
March.
shut down. And it was like we
Yeah.
just got this thing up and going. I have a brand 4-month-old baby, and the landlords were not budging on the rent. They were like, "You rented the space, you are on the hook for the rent." They're like, "We'll let you wait, but you're gonna owe it to us." And so I waited a
Yes.
month or two, and I was just like, I'm not going to get a cheaper space, or I already put so much time, energy, money. If I try to find a different space, and then I just paid all the rent, and there's nothing I could have done. Thank
Yeah.
God I
Yeah.
could do it. Yeah,
A little bit stressful, right?
a little bit, a little bit. Yeah.
I
New baby, business, money. Yeah, all the
I had
stress.
that $7,000 and my rent luckily for that little space was only like 850.
Yeah.
And I had enough. I ended up like we were shut down for a long time and I had enough to cover it like just up to the thing. And then I was short like $500 and my father-in-law paid that so that I could keep my studio without having to readjust the lease because they said that they would have me not pay, but I would owe it. And then I would have to sign on for a fourth year on the lease,
Uh,
but that those terms would be decided later.
uh,
And I was like, there's no way I'm going to agree to that. That's
yeah.
horrible. I
Yeah.
have to pay it.
Yeah.
And so I was able to pay my home and that shop and everything we needed with that savings that I had, luckily. And then I had not a dime left to my name. And I was able to get the studio back and going.
And so this is after COVID was over, after the shutdown.
Yeah, in Oregon, the shutdown was pretty long. So I want to
Yeah.
say that it was maybe like June or July when I finally
Wow.
opened it.
Wow. And then
Yeah.
2021 happened. Were you
20,
busy?
well, 2021 happened, yeah, but it was rough for Oregon. We were really busy. We were really busy in the studio, and I had lots of work. I feel like because everyone had all that money coming in
Yeah.
from like unemployment or whatever, like
Oh yeah.
people were, and they had time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we had I don't know if you remember this, but the like really big fire of 2020 or 2021.
Yeah. I
It
do
was
remember.
from
I feel like every year
California.
there was a big fire in
Well,
California.
this was different because I'd lived
Okay.
in Oregon my entire life, and this one was different because it went from California all the way into Washington.
Oh wow.
And there was like a windstorm that made it really bad, and it just kind of circled us.
Yeah.
And we evacuated and went to Colorado for a little while before we
Yeah.
came back. And then I decided at that point that I was tired of Oregon
Yeah.
and the fires and everything. And we had like $6,000 in the bank account. And one day I randomly bought, it was the same day because I had wanted to move to Texas forever to Oregon is very expensive, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, tattoos go for the same price in Texas. We could have a better life potentially. And one day I decided, and that same day I bought tickets, 3 plane tickets for me and my two little ones to get out of Texas. And we left.
Wow. So it's the same day you had the idea, you just holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I never do spontaneous shit like that, but I was like, if it's gonna happen, we got to make it happen.
Wow.
And so the housing market was up crazy too, and we were renting my brother's house,
Yeah.
and he bought it for like 140. He was able to sell it for 350. So I was like, we were not gonna even have a place to live, so he
Yeah.
can get in on this. And I got a condo sight unseen in Texas, and yeah, we've been here ever since.
Holy shit. And so where are we going from here? Was it busy when you got into Texas?
No.
Is this 2022?
No,
What year it was
I had to,
what year did
I
you
still
move?
had my studio in Oregon, luckily, right?
Mm.
And
So you're going back and forth?
I was going back and forth on a
Wow.
plane and like doing like marathon sessions back to back for like 6 days and then going back so that I could afford to pay for my family in
Wow.
Texas. And I had started at one studio that wasn't very busy. I was like doing everything to try to get myself out there. that studio ended up closing down because that girl wasn't paying the rent. And then I went to another studio and I was there for a few months. I thought I was finally getting comfortable, and she wasn't paying the rent, so I had to move again.
What's up with all these
And then
shop owners not paying the fucking rent? This is
I was paying
2020.
my rent.
This is
I was paying my
2022.
rent. And
This is
then
this is 22. You're saying?
yeah, 2022.
Yeah.
And then I got into, there was this tattoo studio that was 5 minutes from my house. I was like, man, they probably won't hire me because they're a traditional shop. And I had traditional shops be like, no, you can't come here.
Yeah.
And I was
Because
like, but it would be
how would you
so,
describe your style? I mean, you do very colorful work. You've
it's like neo-traditional, I'd say, but it's definitely like playful and like cartoons and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. We'll
Very
throw some images
nostalgic.
up for people to see. Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way they're gonna let me come here. And then I saw this thing online and she was like, I need help. Please, anybody, can you come help me with my shop? I'm super busy. And I was like, here we go. And I was getting ready. So I wanted to buy a house. And the space that I was at, I was like, I'm not going to be able to pay for this house that I'm wanting to buy if I stay in this place because I need to be in a walk in shop right now so I can get established in Texas. I saw the thing on Instagram where she was like begging for help. And so I called her one day and I went in there and she was like, do you think you could come work today? And I was like, yeah, give me 5 minutes. I'll go get my shit and I'll come do this walk in that had just come in as like a interview. Yeah,
Wow.
and then that walk-in ended up being like turning into a client where I did their whole sleeve. And she was just
Wow.
like, "Yeah, you can be here." And she was like, everyone else was traditional artists. And she was like, "I think it's great though. You can do your thing. It'll be great. I
Isn't
don't
it
have to do any
amazing?
more
Just
watercolor tattoos."
it's like in the moment, living in the experience of the uncertainty, and then you see this post, or you get this feeling to move to Texas, or and it just like it makes no sense in the moment, and it's terrifying because you don't know where the next thing is. But you look back on it, and you're like, wow, every time the universe provided, you had the intention. Like the universe always meets you halfway. But
Yeah.
if you don't come with that intention and that willingness to mess it up, take a risk, look stupid, you know,
Oh, I
then
do risky things.
yeah, you do. That's what I'm hearing in this story is like you bet on yourself time and time again, and you put in all the chips. It was like, no, we're moving all of its tech. We're not going to test it out. I'm gonna take this call. All right, I'm gonna come and do a tattoo today. I'm not gonna vibe it all out, and it's yeah, I'm just listening for like what are the patterns? What's the story being told behind the story? Yeah.
Yeah. I did like that shop for quite a while. And in the end it got real. I mean, that studio got real messy, and I think what I learned from it more than anything was that I really like tolerated a lot. Just like with that first guy, Ben, I really tolerated like a lot of abuse consistently, and I always just would like smile through it and be like, "I'm fine. I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. I'm all right." But by the end of my time at that studio, like there had been so much like negativity towards me that I had to take like a break from tattooing. I had to take 30 days off because I was just like so beat down.
Why do you think this is not an abnormal story? Like I have experiences of all kinds of abuse at shops, but this is not a rare story. Like why is this something that is so rampant in tattooing? And look, it's not that it doesn't exist in other places, but you were talking to my wife not too long ago, and she comes from the corporate world. She worked at CVS, and she's like, I can't even believe that the things that you were saying you went through existed. Like why do you think tattooing is like that? And
I
it's not all
I
like
think
that. I
it's
mean, caveat, but yeah.
I think it's real competitive. Like the tattoo world is very competitive. And because it's so competitive, like people try to tear you down. If they see someone, I'm going to use the term shining because I try to be like positive and like grateful for all the things in my life and try not to like focus too much on the negatives. But I feel like they hate that. And, you know, they would tell me that they hated that about me.
So
Um,
let's dig into this a little bit more. The word competitive, like the Olympics is going on right now, right? That's fucking competitive. And you know what? They're all celebrating each other's wins. I'm sure there's some little hurt feelings and stuff that happen, but they're all there to shine. And they're that's real competition. I don't think this is competition. I don't think that's what it is.
jealousy,
I think
maybe.
it's just play. I think it's scarcity.
Oh, the scarcity mindset.
I think
Yeah.
that's all it is. So if someone else is shining, well then that means there's less for me. That's scarcity. That's not competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
I think there's a scarcity wound that I've definitely dealt with in my own life, and I know it's something we talk a lot about in the Artful Dollar. But I think as a whole in tattooing, there is like a deeper scarcity wound. It's not wrong, bad. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I think it's something we can all take responsibility for and look at and like, oh wow, this behavior that maybe I'm guilty of at times and coming from that place of scarcity and allowing, we all allow it to a certain degree. I hope that it lessens, but I would say I see what's happening in tattooing right now in the tatpocalypse. I don't think it's because there's not enough clients, and I don't think it's because there's too many tattoo artists. From what I'm seeing, it's a deep-seated scarcity where people just don't believe that it's even possible for them to thrive as a tattoo artist.
Yeah, it's the mindset, right? And I kind of am different in the sense that I never believed that there was a scarcity. I've like always truly believed there's enough for all of us, and I want everyone to win. And so they would talk about that, like, oh, shops are closing down, there's no work anymore, all the work that came from COVID is gone. And I'm like, no, you can find it, you can get it. Like, I was always booked. And I think that was part of why they didn't like me, is because I was always booked. But it's like, you can go out there and you can get these things. You just have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to believe that uh, that wasn't the case.
Because it's
And
easier to believe that and then not, you just don't have to do anything. You're not to
well,
blame,
yeah,
so
it's
there's
not
nothing
your
for you to do.
responsibility then.
Right.
Yeah, it's not your responsibility. And it's like, I put the effort in to get my work, but then you guys are mad because I have work. Well, put the
What
effort
were
in to
you
get
doing?
work.
This is still 2022 we're talking about?
Yeah.
This is before we met. What were you doing that they weren't doing?
I was promoting myself on Facebook is how I was doing it. And it was just through like the local groups and stuff. But
Okay.
then also I would take really good care of my clients. I would put so much effort into making sure that my clients were taken care of. And I got a lot of work from like word of mouth and stuff.
Yeah.
So every time I met someone, I
Do you
took it
feel like
as an
they
opportunity.
weren't taking as good care of their clients?
No, honestly, like there's a lot of times where people come in to the shop and like someone's puts a stencil on them and then they're like, okay, we got to let this shit dry. I'll be back in 20
Oh
minutes.
yeah,
I was like, 20
go for a
minutes? It
walk
takes
around
like
the
5 seconds.
go for a walk around the block, hit a bowl, smoke a bat or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes 5 seconds. What is 20 minutes? Or like their artwork was never done for the person when they came in.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would push them off if they didn't want to do it. They would just like try to push them off on me, and I would be like, okay, I'll help you if
I
you
have
want.
seen that
People don't
all
like that.
over the place in tattooing. And I don't think the people that are running their business up, I don't think they realize it. Like I don't think they think they're treating their clients poorly.
No,
I
there was
think they
this one
think they're
time.
just being a tattoo artist and there's nothing, yeah.
That's part of it, being a rock star. Yeah.
Right.
There was this one time that I had a client and she was getting a tummy tuck scar tattooed over. And the music was really loud and it was aggressive metal music. And the apprentice came over and said, would you like me to turn it down? Because she was struggling. And I was like, yeah, do that. That will be really nice. And he goes in the back and the music gets turned up louder. And he comes out and he just starts shaking his head at me. And I was like, what the F, dude? And he's like, they said no. And I was like, what do you mean they said no? And I went into the back and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, you should have turned the music down. Then I'm getting bitched at by my client because you guys are assholes. And they went and they told the owner, and the owner of the shop came back to me and said, Becca, you need to watch it. You need to not act like that. Me?
Wow.
Me because I wanted the music turned down.
Because you
And she
wanted the
was like, you
client
need
to have a
to.
good experience? The person that's
Yes. And
paying
she
the
was
fucking
like,
rent?
you need to train your clients. You can't act like that. You can't do everything for your clients. You got to keep the tattoo artist happy.
Oh my God.
But that doesn't include me.
This is
Like,
like this is all a symptom of a deeper seated mentality that I've always seen in tattooing, and I never understood it. It's funny. I had a very similar experience. I made a post about it where I was tattooing, and they were watching the movie Saw on the computer because they weren't tattooing, and there was nothing for them to do. So they were just watching the movie, and I'm trying to do this tattoo, and it literally torture, screaming, no music, just people guttural, like hard, like it makes your spine chill, shrieking. And I was like, guys, can we literally put anything else on? Because my client, like, I'm trying to do it. And they're like, shut up, pussy.
yeah.
And that was it. And they just kept, and I was like, I couldn't say anything at the, it's like, why are human beings, why is this okay? Why was this ever okay in tattooing? And it still exists to a degree. It's definitely changing, but it's the deeper seated mentality around it. And I think a lot of the problems that tattooing is facing right now, like, I think it's all can be rooted in something. Like, I think there's a connection. I don't think it's just this or that,
I think clients are getting more educated.
Yeah.
And that they don't want to sit through that shit
Yeah.
anymore.
Why would
And they see that other people will take better care of them. And so why would they want to go into a shop and feel uncomfortable and get like made fun of and told that their idea is stupid and F off,
Yeah.
Like, who would want that? And now because of Instagram, they have the ability to look at a ton of different people. And Instagram has like opened up so many doors for me. Like, I just had a client fly in from California to get tattooed by me. And she had a great time. She left me a great review. And it's
And
like
she found you
people
on
can,
Instagram.
yeah. Yeah. So people are willing to put more effort in to make sure their tattoo experience is better. Because it's not just about the tattoo that they're getting, it's about the experience. You hold on to those experiences when you go and get a tattoo. You
Yeah.
could have like a great tattoo with a bad experience and you're going to hate it. But you could have an okay tattoo with a great experience with a great person and you're going to love that so much more.
Yeah, it's true. You are having a ton of success on social media, but I know that wasn't always the case. So I do want to get into like what you feel has been most helpful for you, especially people listening would, I'm sure, love to hear. But I do want to get into what happened. So between 2022 and then we met in 2025, 2024, 2025, right?
2025, yeah, because I quit that shop in 2024 and I had to go out on my own and I couldn't like depend on walk-ins or anything anymore. And I was really scared at that point. I think I had finally gotten to this belief that there wasn't any work. And I had been trying on social media. I've been making the videos. I had been thinking that I was putting myself out there, making all those same videos that like, the TikTok dances or lip talking to whatever.
Lip
And
syncing, yeah.
yeah, I was going nowhere with it. And I had been stuck at the same amount of followers forever. And I had seen your course multiple times before. I knew in the one shop if I had even tried your course, I would have been laughed out of the fucking place.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
So, yeah, because how dare you want to better yourself, you asshole?
Yeah.
And I didn't have any money and I didn't have any clients. And I had a studio that I rented and that had hardly anything in it. It's just a private studio. And I did the call with you. And I think I even told you, like, I don't have the money for this program. And I gave you my mortgage money for a deposit because I was like, I know I can do this.
I did not know that. If I had known that at
Yeah.
the time,
No,
I would not have accepted it. Absolutely
I
not.
didn't tell you. I didn't tell you that part, but I told you I didn't have the rest, but I was going to figure out a way to come up with it.
Which is what you
And
did when you got the tattoo apprenticeship.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Wow.
told my husband too. So I did ask my husband before I gave you that money. And you told me too that if my husband was against it, that you would refund it for me too. So
Yeah,
you
I,
did
I
give me
don't want
that.
anyone to feel I
Yeah.
want you and your husband to be all in on it, you know?
Yeah. And so I asked him about it. I told him that I would figure it out and get the money. And he said, yeah, I believe in you.
Well,
And I got that money. I got that money in like, I think like a month.
yeah. Wow. Well, the mortgage was due, right?
Yeah.
So we needed to come up. Wow. We did a testimonial video afterwards, and I just remember you sharing that moment of like you were like, fuck me. You're like, I've built this career over 20 years and I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Nothing. No money in my account. And yeah, I felt like such a fucking failure at that point. And I didn't know what I was going to do. There, like, how do I step back into the corporate world or into a regular job? Like, what is there for me? Like forklift driving again? Like, how can I step back into that? Like, would they even hire me at that point?
Yeah.
You know, like being 30, I think I was like 39 at the time. And it's like, I don't know what else to do.
So my favorite part of my job is talking to tattooers that get past that. My least favorite part of my job is that I hear that story so often. I hear it almost every day. Tattooers getting to a point of pure desperation, and and I want to help everyone I can. I do. I help every single person I meet with. Whether we continue to work together or not, I'm always going to point someone in the right direction. I do not want to see tattoo artists fail. And I'll just be honest, I've been hearing that so much more over the past 6 months than ever. And I hear it all the time, but I am seeing the problem get worse faster than I could possibly make a dent in it. And I do see it's like people don't believe. That's the problem. It's not that they need some special marketing strategy or that they even need my help. They need to believe that it is fucking possible for them to create a new situation, a new career, a new way of doing business. They need to believe that. They don't, if they truly just believe it, they don't fucking need me.
Yeah.
And once they believe that, and then like I always tell them, I don't let people lose. I refuse to let tattoo artists lose. So if we end up working together, it's only going one way. And I make sure of it. I will bend over backwards. I have been for the past 3 years, 4 years since doing marketing education. And
Well, in tattooing too, like what I see a lot is this like camaraderie around people wanting to better themselves or even do any kind of education for marketing and stuff is like being a sellout. There's all this like these people are scam artists. These people are trying to take advantage of tattoo artists. And what I've seen is the exact opposite. And it's like, why do we feel like we aren't allowed to better ourselves? I don't understand it. Like
well, I think
a
again, it's
lot of people take
that same
classes.
thing, not wanting to see other people shine brighter than you.
Yeah,
And so
maybe.
if tattooers see other people trying something new that might actually work for them, God forbid it actually got them into a better position, I can't have that. So I have to attack. People only attack when they feel threatened, right? Why would you attack if you weren't threatened by something?
Yeah.
So for most tattooers, I would say most tattoo artists, I'm not their thing. I'm not for them. I'm not trying to be for them. That's just not your thing. Doesn't mean what I'm doing is wrong. Doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong. I'm just not for you. But they see that this work and using social media like a tool and actually looking at your business and treating your business like a business has the potential to help people change lives. And then that person's going to shine. And then they take it as a personal attack on them. And so they feel threatened. And it's that mentality. I don't know what that mentality is called. If it's scarcity, if it's victim mindset, I don't know. I wish it had a name. But that's the thing that I see has been rooted in tattooing for so long. And I'm over it. I am fucking over it.
Well, maybe honestly, it just is like it's just fear. People are scared, and so it's easier to attack than it is to see that you're actually the creator of your life. Like you're the one that are creating your problems. I feel like it's so hard to get people to see it that way. They're like, I'm not at fault. It's the economy, it's this, it's that. But like I'm here to tell you that it is your fault. Like from the most loving place, it is your fucking fault. Because I'm over here, I'm booking not to be like braggy about it, but like April, May, and June,
All right,
and
we're in
I'm fully booked.
February, so March, April, May, and June.
Well, I have February and March booked. April's almost fully booked, and May and June are getting filled up.
Yeah.
And like they're booked solid. And I'm charging more now, and
Are
I'm
you are
working
you
less.
waiting? Are you waiting for word of mouth to fill your books?
No, I'm still working on all the stuff. I've been really consistent with all of it. And it did take like 5 months for me to blow up. But then once I started to blow up, I blew up. Like I went from 5,000 followers to 10,000 followers. Now I think I'm at like 17 something. And then TikTok blew up and I'm at like 11,000 followers. And I get so many messages a day that I have to do it all throughout the day to be able to keep up. It's like I don't know, I don't like feel scared, or I don't believe there's that scarcity. And there was this other guy in the program too, and he was doing all the things, and then he seemed genuinely blown away, and I talked to him afterwards about it because I was just like so amazed by how well he was doing. And he's like, I really believed that this was the end for me. I really believed tattooing was over. He's like, it isn't, and it's not true. And I think if people can get past that belief that there's not enough for everyone and really see like there's enough for everyone. Like I think about hairstylists all the time. There's a million hairstylists, way more than tattoo artists.
Yeah.
And they're all doing hair, and we don't see them being like, "Oh, nobody's coming in to get hair because the economy." We don't see that.
I have a friend that does marketing education for hairstylists, and she says they have their own. I think it exists in that industry as well. But to your, to your argument, it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry. Tattooing didn't become less. It's a roughly 13 to 14 billion dollar industry in terms of all the money that gets transacted in one year through supplies and tattoos. And it's more now than it was. So if there is more money, there's more business going around, and people say, "Oh, there's more tattooers. It's getting spread thin." But okay, do the work or complain about it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it has a flywheel effect where in the beginning it is slow. It takes a minute to get that momentum, but then once you get that momentum going, you've got it. You've got a system locked down. I literally led a workshop today on building that flywheel. I call it the Tattoo Forever system, which is just essentially what you're doing in terms of attracting clients, building trust. I use some of your content actually as a reference.
Yeah, I hear that because people will message me telling me that I was in it.
So what advice do you have for people? Some free game that you feel would help a tattooer who's just struggling with this right now. I saw a Reddit post the other day, all these tattooers saying that Instagram doesn't work. It doesn't work. It can't work. It's not going to book you tattoos. You don't need it. It's a waste of time. For someone that's like, all right, I'm not going to listen to them, speaking from someone that has done it, what
Well,
what would you
I think they
tell?
all work. Truly, they all work if you know how to do
So
it.
what works? What do you feel is working well for you right now?
Well, Instagram is my main focus, right? So Instagram works, but I've met people who have Facebook work for them. I have people that I've met who Google works for them, like Google Maps and stuff, or Google Ads, and people who use TikTok. I think they all work. You just need to know how to make them work. And just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it works, that's not how it's done. And
How
like
would
I
like what's
looked
your
up.
what's your strategy right now? Like what are you doing that is working really well to help you with tattoos?
Well, I keep a schedule. I keep a schedule for it. And so I post three
Half the audience
things.
is already like, "Oh, fuck that." Schedule?
But it's easy. It's easy. It sounds crazy, but it's a lot easier once you get everything set up. Like it becomes easier and easier. So there is some legwork, but the more legwork, like everything's automated now for me. And I do like one post that's a carousel. And then I have one video that's like an educational video. I'll do an inspirational video sometimes on the back end of it because it's not like tattoo related. And I'll do like a tattoo video that always has me in the beginning of it. And I do the three always. I keep my Instagram looking the same. I always post them the same days of the week. And I have been doing that for a long time. I think Instagram said like 66 weeks in a row I've been posting content now.
Yeah.
And I also have like my website to go behind it. I've had a lot of people recently tell me that my website was the reason that they chose me.
Great.
I do the blogs that go along with my post. I either do them once a week or once every other week.
And the
And I
blogs
have,
help the searchability. People that are searching for certain topics, do you take that into consideration when you write the blog?
yeah, because it's all educational stuff for the
Right.
client. Like all of my
Answering
stuff
their
is really,
questions in their blog post. Yeah.
yeah, focused on
Half the
the
time, it
content.
doesn't even matter if they read the blog post. All that matters, it's not like Instagram where it matters how long they spend on the page. All that matters is that enough people visited the page and that you have Google reviews, and then it's answering a question that people are Googling for.
Yeah.
That's it. Open up an incognito window, type in the word tattoo, and then all the suggested Google will have suggestions. So type in tattoo in your location. All these suggested questions, those questions are things that Google knows people are already asking. So if you just write a blog post that answers those questions and you use the exact words that they used, you will start to build an SEO optimized website. It's the simplest way to get started with that. And there's a whole bunch of more stuff, but that would be just the easy thing people can do.
Yeah.
Set a schedule. Like you said, answer the questions that people are asking. You make the carousels. What are you doing with the carousels? Your tattoos with words on it? Like, what are you saying?
Well, I did have them so they all look the same. Recently, I switched it up so that it's like a tattoo behind it. My
Yeah.
last one was like myths about watercolor tattoos. I do a lot of watercolor tattoos, so I wrote out like the myths of it and then what's the truth and how to find a artist that can do watercolor correctly so that it lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
That was just
Awesome.
my last one.
And
Um,
that I would put that into authority building type of content where you're explaining your experience over 20 plus years doing this thing. And when a client sees that, it's like, I'm not bragging here. I'm sharing my experience, my knowledge, and that builds trust. And if you do it once, you're not building a whole lot of trust. But if you do it over and over and over, all of a sudden you become, when they're ready to get tattooed, you're the person that's on the top of their mind. Not by
mhm.
accident.
Yeah.
Not because you're waiting around for your clients to spread the word of mouth, but on purpose, intentionally doing it over and over, showing up. And that's the thing. I tell you, it's not that it's hard. It's like losing weight or getting healthy. It's not hard. It's you do the same thing over and over again. It's just the consistency, right? Doing 10 sit-ups is not that hard. Doing 10 sit-ups every fucking day for 6 months, that's the hard part.
Well, just honestly doing it, it's not any harder, to get up and do it every day. It's not any harder. I think we believe that it is. It's just about like being consistent and also like forgiving yourself when you're not consistent, I think is a good one
Totally.
too. Because I'm sure there's times that I've like messed up in that. And then I'm just like, well, I'll come back to it tomorrow. But before I would be like, well, I messed up. I guess I'm a piece of crap and I'm
Yeah.
no good. I'm not going to do it. So it's like being consistent and having forgiveness for yourself for anything that you felt like you messed up in the past. Like you can only move forward. And there's
Yeah.
like, I hear people say all the time, like, I'm behind. Well, I'm behind. Who says you're fucking behind?
Right. Compared to
Just,
what?
yeah, to
Compared to
who?
where you'll be tomorrow if you started today.
Yeah. And it's like, you're the one that decided you're behind. Just decide you're not behind and just keep
Yeah.
going.
But I love just hearing your story, hearing the journey of it all, because there's so many people that have been in those places or are in those places right now where it does feel hopeless. And it's something worked, or how am I going to get the $8,000 to do the apprenticeship, or how am I going to, how can I possibly invest in myself when I have nothing right now? If you had not bet on yourself and decided, all right, fuck it, I'm going to work with this. First of all, why did you even know that working with me was going to help you? Like, why did you believe that?
I don't know. I believed in you. I had been watching your stuff for a long time, and I had been trying to do all that shit on my own and trying to figure it out, and I could not fucking figure it out. And I just like,
You next month's mortgage payment believed in me? Like, that's a lot of fucking belief.
yeah. And I
How?
had watched this other, like other people too. I watched other people too, and for whatever reason, there's just something about you that I felt like you were the right person. And I didn't just believe in you, but I believed in me. And I felt like if I could just be shown the way by someone who had already done it, that I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
And
I was,
I couldn't fail. I couldn't. My kids' lives were on the line, and my
yeah.
husband's lives. We had a brand new house. Like
And
there
I've
was
had
no
a
other
lot of
option.
people take on debt to work with me. And I don't have a problem with it because I know I'm not going to let you fail no matter what. No matter what. It's just, it's not in me. I don't have quit in me. And I hope that you don't have quit in you. And I would say my job is just to reflect back to you the capable version of yourself that can do it. And then just say, all right, what would that version of you do? Well, they'd probably do this, this, and this. All right, now let's go do that. And then sometimes you forget that you are that capable person. And then my job is to just remind you again and again and again. And I think a lot of tattooers are in environments where they don't have anyone to reflect back to them the greatest version of themselves that is capable. Thank God you have your husband, because he sounds like he is that mirror for you.
Yeah. Well, I think the community that you created really creates a space for people to feel believed in.
Yeah.
Truly, there was this one person in the group, and they said in the beginning when they first started, they said, "Of course you hate me, I hate me." And I felt
Mm,
like that resonated so much with me because I was in that exact same place when I started. Like I fucking hated myself so much for being where I was at and having nothing. And then there was like a few months later, he said, I used to be drowning in sorrow and now I'm only ankle deep. And I was like, dude, like it creates so much freedom for people. Having someone believe in them and creating a community of people who like truly believe in each other changes people's lives.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I so appreciate you sharing that from your experience being in the community. And where can people, if people want to see what Becca's up to and copy all your content and steal your strategy, where can they go?
Pretty much everything is under Nichelle Tattoos. It's Nushelltattoos. I have Instagram, TikTok, and I just started a YouTube, and
Nice.
they're
That's
all under
also
the same.
great for searchability for SEO. That's how a lot of people find me. They're Googling tattoo marketing, and I have a lot of YouTube videos. So,
Well,
yeah.
my first one goes out tomorrow, so it'll already be posted when this comes out, and
Cool.
it's going to be a pretty big stinker, but I'm still posting it.
Okay. Yeah, that's where you got to get started. I have a lot of stinkers in the past. Yeah, that's awesome. And now anyone can go and steal your strategy, but they cannot steal your light. They cannot steal your drive. They cannot steal your vision. That's yours. And only you can give that to you. I can't even give that to you. I wish I could, but so I just want to acknowledge you. And I think that light it's like a candle. It lights other people up. When I see other people doing shit I want to do, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. And your light and sharing your light here on YouTube, wherever it is, I know there are people that see it and they get inspired and it changes their lives, even if you never meet them, even if wherever their life takes them, just being in that presence is a game changer. So thank you for being that person.
Yeah, and thank you.
All right, if you found this episode helpful, one of the best ways for you to help other artists is to share this episode. Leave a review and subscribe. It helps other people find my channel, and you never know what a difference it might make for someone else. Plus, I will forever be grateful for your support, so I just want to say thank you and have a great rest of your day.